In accordance with the rules of procedure, the second reading debate is adjourned and the bill is referred to the House Committee.
This Council resumes the second reading debate on the Import and Export Amendment Bill 2025. Dr. Kennedy Wong, Chairman of the Bills Committee on the Bill, will first address the Council on the committee's report. Dr. Kennedy Wong. President, in the capacity of the Chairman of the Bills Committee on Import and Export Amendment Bill 2025, I now report to the Council the salient points of the Bills Committee's scrutiny work. The bill seeks to amend the Import and Export Ordinance and related legislation to implement the Phase 3 services of the Trade Single Window, or TSW. The Phase 3 Information Technology System will replace the Government Electronic Trading Services, or GETS, and major cargo clearance systems of the Hong Kong Customs and Excise Department, the CNED, with a view to enhancing cargo clearance efficiency. The Bills Committee has held one meeting and invited written submissions from the public. Members generally support the bill and consider that the implementation of TSW could enhance the efficiency of cargo clearance in Hong Kong and help maintain Hong Kong's status as a prominent international trade center and logistics hub. A number of matters were discussed with the administration, including the implementation and application of TSW, regulatory regime for value-added service providers, fees of TSW, and its connection with other commercial systems. Members have advised that as TSW is a trade facilitation measure with high development cost, the administration should consider making it mandatory for the trading community to use TSW services to maintain Hong Kong's competitiveness. The administration has advised that, subject to the types of documents, there will be a transitional period of around 4 to 6 months to facilitate the trade to transit to the new system. During the transitional period, the trading community may choose to submit documents through GETS or TSW. After the transitional period, stakeholders can only submit new trade documents through TSW. Members have inquired about the training programs put in place by the administration to facilitate the smooth transition of the trading community to the new regime, and whether CNED has sufficient manpower to handle the additional workload after the implementation of TSW Phase 3. The administration has replied that the CNED will launch a series of publicity, promotion, and training programs, as well as support services to help the trading community adapt to and use TSW more easily. In terms of human resources, the CNED will deploy the existing resources to operate and maintain TSW and cope with additional manpower needs. The Bills Committee has noted that after the implementation of TSW Phase 3, commercial players may submit applications to the Commissioner, etc., to act as value-added service providers or VASPs to handle trade documents on behalf of traders. The bill provides for a new regulatory regime for VASPs. Some members are concerned whether VASPs and cargo transportation service providers will need to bear any legal liabilities if traders provide incorrect information in respect of import and export declarations or TDECs, resulting in the transmission of inaccurate information by VASPs using the TSW. The administration has explained that the Import and Export Ordinance and other relevant legislation have set out clearly the legal liabilities of traders or carriers. There will be no change to the existing legal liabilities of traders or carriers upon the implementation of TSW Phase 3. As regards the question of who should be held liable in the event that a trader, carrier, or VASP uses a specified system to provide incorrect information, it will depend on the actual circumstances and evidence of individual cases. The matter cannot be generalized and will be decided by the courts upon consideration. Members are of the view that the CNED should provide a sample of standard contracts in the practice guidelines issued to VASPs to clearly set out the obligations between VASPs and traders. The administration has advised that the practice guidelines will include some requirements of the government, for example, specific authorization requirements. It will consider the feasibility of providing appropriate contract samples in the practice guidelines in the future. The bill provides the legal basis for fees charged under TSW. Members have asked about the factors considered by the administration in determining the level of fees for the use of the specified system, and whether the fees will be adjusted to encourage the trading community to use TSW to transmit import-related information. The administration has advised that in TSW Phase 3, the level of fees will be set according to the principle of cost recovery. The administration will review the operating costs relating to TSW, streamline the procedures and manpower, as well as exercise stringent control over costs and expenses, so that the future fees can be maintained at a reasonable level. Members have asked whether the administration has promoted the connection of Hong Kong's TSW with single windows of the mainland and other economies, for example, the ASEAN, and what the progress is. The administration is advised that it has established the TSW Expert Group with the mainland authorities to enhance exchange on the experience in developing single windows and explore opportunities for collaboration through regular meetings. In addition, it has kick-started discussion with ASEAN to explore the feasibility of connecting a single window in order to further facilitate the trading community. In response to the views of the legal advisor of the Bills Committee, the administration will move an amendment to amend company as person in the provisions relating to VASPs in the bill to better reflect its policy intent that any entity that holds a valid business registration certificate may apply to the Commissioner for becoming a VASP. The administration will also move a number of textual and technical amendments. The Bills Committee has raised no objections to the proposed amendments. President, the following are my personal views on the bill. The implementation of the trade single window is a world trend. It is also an important step for enhancing our competitiveness in terms of trade. Our TSW aims at streamlining the trade procedures and enhance cargo clearance efficiency while strengthening alignment with the GPA and other areas so as to enhance our status as an international trade center. Now, the Amendments Bill 2025 will amend the Import and Export Ordinance and the related legislation to implement the Phase 3 Information Technology System of the TSW. It is envisaged that it will save some 663 million Hong Kong dollars for the trade. It will also save some $17 million for participating government departments. The cost saving will come from enhanced inquiry hotline, reusable information, and also streamlined procedures. And also, Phase 3 will replace the Government Electronic Trading Services, or GET, and other major cargo clearance systems, saving another $65 million in repair and maintenance. This will offset the cost for establishing the new system. Now, to establish a smart government, the Chief Executive mentioned in the policy address that a timetable would be set for allowing online payments for government fees. Now, for that, I have raised a question concerning the positioning of the TSW, which is under the purview of the customs. For other duties like secret duties and liquor duty, can payments for these duties be made through the TSW so as to maximize the use of the platform? Now, I'm pleased to hear that the TSW will be equipped with the capacity to allow the trading community to pay for, say, dutiable commodity licenses through the platform. Now, in the long term, with the further enhancements of the platform, data can be shared with more government departments. Better services and more convenient delivery model will be enabled. Now, there are questions whether VASPs and transportation service providers will have to bear legal liabilities for incorrect information submitted by traders. They suggested that standard contracts should be provided by the Customs and Excise departments to delineate the responsibilities between the VASPs and the traders. The recommendation was received by the government. Certain requirements, for example, specific authorization requirements will be put in place in the standard contracts under the practice guidelines. And also the administration says that in establishing the practice guidelines, more communication will be held with the trading community. I hope the government would continue to offer training and consultation services to the traders, especially SMEs, to address the difficulties they encounter. In terms of fee level, the administration says that the fee level wouldn't be much higher than the existing level, and it is still within the acceptable range. Now, I suggest the government to provide more incentives. For example, providing incentives for pre-DEC or pre-shipment declaration so as to attract more traders to use the system. More publicity should be conducted for the TSW. The government has invested a significant amount of money in establishing the trade single window. We hope that a larger number of traders would be benefited. However, a lot of SMEs are not tech savvy and they need time to adapt to the new platform. That's why the government has not set a timetable for the mandatory use of the platform. So the government must explain to the trade what's so good about the TSW and incentivize them to join. Now, for example, the Shanghai single trade window since 2014 has provided services to more than 600,000 traders. Now, the number of cargoes declared through the platform has increased by the years. Now, according to the latest figure, it has saved some $10 billion for the trade per year. I support the passage of the bill and the amendments.
Dr. Johnny Ng. Thank you, President. The government has been promoting the use of trade single window to provide a one-stop electronic platform for the trading community to lodge business to government trade documents for trade declaration and cargo clearance. In 2025, we scrutinized the Import and Export Amendment Bill to make technical amendments to relevant ordinance to implement the third phase of the TSW. I think that by having the TSW, we can enhance the efficiency of cargo declaration and improve all the procedures so that we can consolidate our position as an international logistics hub. So I support the passage of the bill. I think that we should enhance the use of technology to enhance the effectiveness and efficiency of the government. In phase 3 of the TSW, the government is going to put in place a risk assessment system by leveraging on AI and big data so that the CNED can screen out high risk and suspicious cargoes and to focus resources on cargo declarations and customs clearance. This will alleviate cargo holdups and improve processing. The government will also be able to enhance efficiency on smuggling detection. I think that upon passage of the bill, the government should step up data collection through trade single window. They should open up more data collected through the specified system so that manufacturers, small and medium enterprises can develop their business. The government also should provide more financing services to the trade so that they can obtain loan more easily. In terms of the fees levels, I think that the government should have regards to the implementation of the TSW to lower the fees to encourage more trade practitioners to make use of the trade single window and provide and transmit more relevant data. The government should also make sure that the cost of processing data collected via the system will not go up. In recent days, the GACC has signed a cooperation agreement on single window with the CNDB. I applaud that. I think that the government should work with other places to promote the use of trade single window with other ASEAN countries. At the same time, the government should also work on connecting the TSW to other business-related systems to provide more value-added service to the trade. Overall speaking, as we are going digital, I think that the government should continue to improve relevant ordinances and systems to further consolidate our position as an international logistics hub. I so submit. Mr. Kok Wai Kan. Thank you. Mr. Deputy, I speak on behalf of FTU. I support the bill, Import and Export Amendment Bill 2025. I'm not a member of the Bills Committee, but under the FTU, we have members from the Import and Export Association and the Seafarers Association. They have views on how we can make better use of the trade single window. With the new phase of technological revolution, all countries around the globe is going digital. According to the Sustainable Trade Development Report of the WTO, in 2023, there were 40 countries that have developed a comprehensive trade single window, including Japan, Europe, and Peru, Thailand, Brazil. As Hong Kong is an international trade and logistics hub, we have to keep up with the times. We have to be innovative in enhancing trade efficiency. President, this bill is to promote the third phase of the TSW. By amending the Import and Export Ordinance and other relevant ordinances, we are to implement the Phase 3 of the TSW so that we can formulate a legal framework for transmission of data so that the TSW will replace the current system. The government also designating offenses relating to the transmission of offenses and value-added service providers. By this, we can create a clearer system and framework for data governance. Over the long run, this move will allow Hong Kong to better develop digital economy and allow enterprises to upgrade and transform. According to my understanding, the Phase 3 TSW will replace the government electronic trading services and the major cargo systems under the Customs and Excise Department. By having a one-stop customs clearance process, we will solve many problems, such as too many paper works being involved. This will enhance the efficiency of trade. We're also going to create a brand new risk assessment system by leveraging on AI and big data. By this, the CNED can detect high-risk cargoes so that we can focus our enforcement resources on areas that matter the most. I'm glad that the government has made use of information technology to enhance their efficiency. At the same time, I hope that the administration will make better use of big data to analyze the data that we have and further categorize and standardize the data that we collect so that we can offer more information to the trade to develop their business. For SMEs that have limited resources, this move will offer them real-time information of the market so that they can adapt to the ever-changing international trade markets and grasp development opportunities. I think that the implementation of the Phase 3 TSW will hinges on a two-way communication systems to be built between the government and the trade so that the government can update and upgrade the relevant system in time. In fact, the relevant trade unions have been in talks with the CNED regularly on the new system. I know that the new system will enhance efficiency and make it easier for the trade to apply, but the system is not open to the trade for testing yet. So we have to look at how convenient it is in the future. Many companies in Hong Kong are small and medium and micro enterprises. Many of their staff is very well experienced, but they are more senior in age. That's why they may find it more difficult to adapt to the new system. Some enterprises may need to upgrade their hardware of the computer system, and this will enhance their operating cost. For this, we have a few suggestions for the administration. First, I hope that the government will step up publicity and promotion. They should organize seminars and talks for the trade so that they can better understand the new system. Second, for import and export practitioners, we should offer training courses to them so that they can learn how to use the new system, and we should offer support to them in time. Third, we have to offer subsidy for enterprises in need so that we can alleviate their operating cost and pressure. We should continue to receive feedback from the trade so that we can improve the system. I hope that the TSW will speed up our digitalization so that we can enhance efficiency through digitalization and inject new impetus into our economy. As such, the Pearl of the Orient can enjoy the new opportunities. Thank you.
Mr. Rokshan, Deputy President, Hong Kong is an international shipping and trading center. The Import and Export Amendment Bill 2025 would implement a transitional system to support the trade's transition to TSW. It will inject new impetus into our position as an international trading hub. Under the bill, the third phase of the TSW will be implemented in the middle of 2026 and 2027. By then, import and export declarations, or TDEC, cargo manifests and cargo reports and the certificates of origin and other documents will be digitalized. It will replace the GATS system and also other major cargo clearing systems. It will eliminate the issue of overlapping documentations. Its data will also allow analysis by AI to screen problematic cases. It will speed up the cargo clearance procedures while greatly reducing the risk as well as the cost of cross-checking by the Customs and Excise departments. Now, with the authorization of traders, data can be shared between different departments. This will speed up the approval process of loan facilities by banks and address the SMEs' financial difficulties. Now, on the premise of compliance with privacy laws, we need to study how the TSW can facilitate the sharing and protection of data. Now, according to the mainland and the GACC, sharing of information is beneficial. Now, in Shanghai, since 2014, the international single trade window was implemented on a trial basis. 10 years on, it has already covered the entire custom clearance chain and benefiting some 600,000 enterprises. It handles some 2 billion RMB worth of cargo each year. It is one of the largest single trade window in the world. Now, the TradeNet system in Singapore, since its implementation in 1989, it covers 30 departments and institutions, allowing real-time submission of data and sharing of information. It handles more than 10 million trade permits each year. More than 90% of the applications can be completed within an hour's time. It is also an international exchange platform of information, allowing foreign traders to look for information. Now, it shows that our own TSW can enhance information sharing between trading communities as well as enhancing our competitiveness. Now, together with the GACC, the Hong Kong Customs and Excise Department has signed the single trade window or single submission for due declaration scheme. Now, I hope that our TSW can be connected with the world as soon as possible, including ASEAN member states and Belt and Road countries. This will help expand our trading network to the Middle East and Eurasian markets. This will help us to become a management hub for the supply chain spanning from the country to the world. Now, concerning the adaptability of the trade, the bill has set up a 4 to 6 month transitional period. During the transitional period, traders can opt for using the GET and the TSW. Now, this optional approach has reduced the risk of transition as well as providing flexibility for traders. Now, the government must cater for the different levels of adaptability between traders, especially for those which are less digital savvy. The government should work with trade unions as well as Chamber of Commerce to provide training and explanation so that all users can be well versed in the basic functions of the TSW. Now, some government digital service, for example, Smart Play, and also electronic voters registration, register, there are usually some hiccups in the initial stage after launch. Now, to ensure that phase 3 of TSW can be implemented smoothly, the government must conduct stress tests. And also, through the use of big data and AI, the government must identify and prevent the occurrence of potential risk and enhance the stability. I support the bill. Mr. Frank Yik. Deputy President, I speak in support of the Import and Export Amendment Bill 2025. Now, according to our law, cargoes entering and exiting Hong Kong are subject to a permit system. Starting from 1996, the government has started a digital cargo declaration system, that is GET, for traders and carriers to declare the goods. Now, subsequently, there were also cargo information platforms for sea, land, and air transport. Now, exporting or forwarding cargoes to overseas destinations involve many platforms, and also with the sheer number of cargo information systems in Hong Kong, traders and carriers have to enter data multiple times. But because of different formats and requirements, there are high risks of inaccuracy. It also weakened the competitiveness. Now, back in 2013, I have already suggested to the government to establish a single trade window. One single input of data can comply with all the requirements. Now, in 2016, to align with the international trend, the government has proposed to establish a trade single window to receive cargo manifest and cargo declaration from the trade for imports and exports. That was the basis of today's trade single window. Now, since the proposal was made, 10 years have passed. Finally, we are entering the third phase. Now, the mainland and Singapore have been developing trade single window rapidly. Now, in 2014, the country already had its first trade single window. Now, it has extended to the entire country. For Singapore, the nationwide single trade single window is a world-leading system. The TradeNet system was launched in 1989 and was upgraded to a national platform in 2018. Now, I have urged the government on multiple occasions to speed up its pace to establish the trade single window. Now, in 2018, the government said that the plan was highly complicated and massive. That's why it has to be separated into 3 phases. Now, the first phase was launched in 2018. The second and third phase will be implemented in 2020 and 2023. However, phases 1 and 2 were delayed to 2020 and 2023. For the third phase, the government emphasized full implementation in 2027. Compared with the country and Singapore and also other ASEAN member states' single trade window, we are lagging far behind. Now, the key to the success of TSW is whether there is connection with other trade partners. Now, in designing this system, I have strongly urged the governments to link up our TSW with the single trade window with the mainland and other ASEAN member states' systems. However, the government's response was lackluster. Now, concerning the connection between Hong Kong and the mainland's single trade window, during duty visits of our sector, we heard a favorable response from the mainland authorities. They are just waiting for us to make a move. Now, I'm pleased to hear that the FSTB has signed a collaboration framework agreement with the GACC concerning connection of TSW. Discussion has started with ASEAN member states. I look forward to hearing the good news. Since the government is seeking early accession to RCEP, our TSW should also be connected with those of RCEP member states. Now, concerning connection with the port community system to create a comprehensive platform, the logistics and shipping sector fully supports it. We hope that the comprehensive platform can streamline the declaration procedures of carriers and forwarders. Now, the procedures for applying for a permit to export or import controlled cargoes is lengthy. Now, if permits cannot be obtained in time, the cargo would be forfeited and the case will be taken to court. It will cause shippers to use other ports to manage the risk. Now, since e-commerce is growing rapidly, high value-added products like medicine is seeing huge increase in demand on e-commerce platform. Well, it requires license for importing and exporting medicines. Now, the current system allows for putting the whole batch of goods on record. However, the license must be applied for individually. Now, with the growing complexity of and variety of products, with the TSW platform, after entering the information once, the same information can be used for applying for other approvals from other government departments. It will prevent delays in cargo clearance because of insufficient or improper documents. It will enhance our cargo clearance efficiency and enhance the development of e-commerce in Hong Kong. Now, a controversial issue is whether pre-shipment declaration should be required. That is the requirement in many jurisdictions. However, in Hong Kong, we have always allowed for post-shipment declaration within 14 days after shipment. This is one of the unique advantages we possess. Now, the government has listened to our views and will maintain the current requirements to declare cargoes after 14 days after shipment. This will help maintain our competitiveness. Now, the TSW has not only streamlined the declaration procedures, the data is gathered that will also facilitate big data analysis and enhance the customs ability to conduct risk-based checks. Now, with the consent of the traders and applicants, banks can make use of the data submitted to the trade single window and speed up the approval of loan facility. This will be an incentive to attract more traders and logistic carriers to join the platform. I also submit to support the Import and Export Amendment Bill 2025. Thank you.
Dr. Su Changwing. Thank you, Deputy President. I speak in support of the Import and Export Amendment Bill 2025. The bill seeks to provide for the structure of the trade single window system, providing a one-stop platform for the industry to submit trade documents to the government. So it will be the only platform for businesses to submit trade documents to the government, replacing the government electronic trading services, that is GETS. This is an important overhaul of the system. It will revamp the document submission system of the trading industry as well as the clearing systems or clearance arrangements. The implementation of the TSW will not only streamline the procedures, but it will also reduce the operating costs. More importantly, it will enhance the competitiveness of Hong Kong as an international trade center and logistics hub. It adds vitality to the economy of Hong Kong. It also creates more business opportunities for Hong Kong. In 2020 and 2023, the government launched Phase 1 and Phase 2 respectively. This is the Phase 3. We expect to handle as many as 130 million documents every year. That is 73 times higher than the total amount of Phases 1 and 2 combined. This highlights the importance of the TSW to the trading industry in Hong Kong. The system also provides a lot of different functions, say VASPs, and allowing the submission of electronic documents instead of paper documents. It also entails the pre-submission of documents. The TSW this time around incorporates a lot of technological elements. Different government departments should learn from this experience. Technologies include cloud technologies, artificial intelligence, as well as big data. A highly automated risk management system will be in place, allowing the Customs and Excise Department to more accurately identify high-risk cargoes. And then resources will be better harnessed to enhance the efficiency of customs clearance. There will also be multi-layered defense mechanism. It will guard against cyber attacks as well as unauthorized access to data. The government is developing Corp ID. This is the corporate version of I Am Smart. It is not yet connected to the TSW. This is a letdown. The administration said that flexibility would be maintained and this would probably be incorporated into the system in due course. I urge the government to make enhancement as soon as possible so that there will be a one-stop platform for government services. There are views that the government should mandate the industry to use the TSW in order to enhance the competitiveness of Hong Kong. The administration explained in relation to road cargo system, paper documents are submitted instead of electronic documents. So paper documents will still be allowed for a road cargo system. The administration said that they would take into account the situation in the future. This is largely reasonable, but then digitalization is the main trend. Therefore, the administration should ramp up publicity and promotion. The government should encourage the industry to use the digitalized system so that the industry will go digital. Last of all, the government already made it clear that the government would determine the fees level based on cost recovery. But concessions may be provided in order to incentivize enterprises to use the pre-submission documents or the pre-submission system. In my opinion, international trade is still uncertain to a large degree. Hong Kong needs to develop different emerging markets, say Belt and Road Initiative countries. If the TSW charges too high a price, this will hinder the development of international trade. This is not conducive to the upgrading and transformation of local trade. We cannot solely rely on the principle of cost recovery. We need to assess the affordability of different industries, especially for SMEs, in order not to cause an extra burden or additional burden to different enterprises in Hong Kong. We should work towards the aim of enhancing our position as an international trade center. I so submit. Does any other member wish to speak? If not, I will call upon the Secretary for Commerce and Economic Development to reply. Then the debate will come to a close. Deputy President, I'd like to express my heartfelt gratitude to Dr. Kennedy Wong, Chairman of the Bills Committee on Import and Export Amendment Bill 2025, as well as the other committee members for their efforts. The bill was scrutinized efficiently and smoothly. I would also like to thank members who have spoken just now for their valuable views and the support for the bill. When moving the second reading of the bill, the government said that it had been pressing ahead with the implementation of the Trade Single Window, or TSW for short. The target is to roll out the final and most complex Phase 3 services in phases starting from next year. The TSW will replace the existing GET system and become the sole electronic platform for the submission of import and export declarations, cargo manifests, as well as applications for certificates of origin and dutiable commodities permits. The bill will also introduce a regulatory regime for value-added service providers, VASP, allow the voluntary pre-shipment submission of TDEC and cargo manifests, introduce electronic road cargo manifest and digitalization of return of licenses services, provide the basic legal framework for charging fees for the use of TSW, and introduce transitional provisions. They will allow Phase 3 of the TSW and GET to operate in tandem for a period of time so that the trader will have sufficient time to adapt and migrate to the new system. We note that during the scrutiny of the bill, a few areas were of particular concern to the Bills Committee. We have provided detailed responses to these in the course of the scrutiny. First, on the charging arrangements for the TSW, for Phase 3 of the TSW, we will determine the fee levels according to the government's standing policy. Unless otherwise justified, the fees will in general be set at levels adequate to recover the relevant cost of document submission through the TSW. We will review the operating costs of the TSW, streamline procedures and manpower with the aim of keeping the future fees at a reasonable level. We will also consider providing incentives such as a more favorable rate under Phase 3 on the TSW to encourage the trade to make pre-shipment submission of TDEC and cargo manifests on a voluntary basis. Second, I wish to turn to the connectivity of the TSW with other systems. The Phase 3 IT system will have the technical capability to connect with the single windows or commercial systems of other economies. In May this year, the General Administration of Customs of PRC, that is GACC for short, and the CEDB signed the cooperation arrangements on single window to further strengthen collaboration and exchanges on single windows between the mainland and Hong Kong, and to enhance system connectivity between the two places. We are also in talks with the Association of Southeast Asian Nations to explore the feasibility of connecting with a single window in order to provide better convenience for the trading community. Furthermore, Phase 3 of the TSW will work with the Hong Kong Monetary Authority's commercial data interchange. With users' consent, users' import and export declaration data can be shared with participating banks through the TSW to assist banks in setting users' in vetting users' loan applications. CEDB is actively exploring with the Transport and Logistics Bureau the feasibility of collaboration between Phase 3 of the TSW and the port community system in order to leverage the synergy of the two systems to create a more efficient and convenient operating environment for the trading and logistics sector. Third, the government attaches great importance to the security of the IT system. While developing the TSW, we have incorporated security concepts at the system design stage in accordance with the government's IT security policy and guidelines. This ensures that the information system and applications meet the relevant security and data protection requirements through the system development lifecycle. The system adopts a multi-layered defense mechanism and protective measures to guard against cyber attacks or unauthorized access to data. Before the rollout of the services, we'll conduct a series of system tests, including user acceptance tests, load tests, stress tests, reliability tests, and resilience tests. We will also carry out security risk assessments and audits. The Digital Policy Office DPO will arrange for additional tests. These will assess the system's resilience to abnormal or extreme loads and stresses, as well as its recovery capabilities against cyber attacks in order to ensure compliance with the government's information security requirements. We will also plan for different contingency measures to handle any emergencies. In addition, the CEDB regularly chairs interdepartmental meetings with relevant departments, the DPO, and contractors to jointly monitor the system development process and discuss matters requiring cross-departmental coordination and support. Fourth, on the future rollout of the three existing GETS providers, we will allow adequate room for commercial players to develop diverse and value-added services. Following the launch of Phase 3, commercial players may apply to become VASPs to submit and verify trade documents and cargo information and make payments on behalf of traders. The trade may then choose to submit trade documents or cargo information directly through the TSW system or upon a VASP to do so on their behalf. Lastly, some members expressed concern about publicity and training. In the run-up to the implementation of Phase 3 of the TSW, the CNED will launch a series of publicity, promotion, training programs and support services to help the trade to adapt to and use the TSW more easily. The government has also taken into account the views of the Bills Committee and legal advisor. A number of textual and technical amendments will be moved to make the legislative provisions clear and easier to understand and to more accurately reflect the legislative intent. I will move the relevant amendments at the committee stage and explain the details. Just now, some members mentioned how to use the data to help the industry to develop their businesses. The CNSD will use the information of the TDEC and cargo manifests to compile different statistics. Relevant statistics will be published on a regular basis. There will be easy-to-use interface to help industries to formulate their own statistics and graphs. They can then conduct analyses. As I mentioned, the CEDB is working with a lot of different departments and organizations. Data in different systems will be shared in order to achieve complementarity. There will be more efficient operation and business-friendly environment for the trade. Just now, members also mentioned the implementation of the TSW. Members said that the implementation in Hong Kong is rather slow. In 1997, the government already launched GETS system to allow the trade to submit regular documents to the government. In fact, import and export systems in different jurisdictions differ from one another. The scope is different as well. Therefore, it is actually very difficult to compare the implementation as well as the time needed to implement TSW. We launched the TSW in order to provide convenience for the trade when it comes to the submission of documents that will help maintain Hong Kong's status as an international trade center and logistics hub. We chose to implement the TSW system using a staggered approach. We have conducted consultation in the design of the system in order to provide the greatest convenience to the trade. We understand the calls from the industry to implement the TSW at full steam. Some members just now mentioned the digitalization of the road cargo system. In the initial stage of phase 3 of the TSW, we allowed the industry to submit cargo manifests when it comes to road transport in physical documents. In due course, we will conduct reviews and we will also heed the views of the community as well as the trade. Then we will decide when to mandate the industry to submit electronic copies. The implementation of the TSW is a major overhaul of the business and operational process. It will comprehensively revamp and enhance the document submission workflows between the participating government agencies and the trade. It will enhance the efficiency of cargo clearance in Hong Kong and maintain Hong Kong's status as an international trade center and logistics hub. I urge members to support the bill and the amendments to be moved by the government so as to provide a legal basis for the implementation of phase 3 of the TSW next year. I also submit. Thank you, President.
And I'll put the question to you that the Import and Export Amendment Bill 2025 is read the second time. Will those in favor please raise their hands? Those against, please raise their hands. I think the question is agreed by a majority of the members present. I declare the motion passed. Import and Export Amendment Bill 2025. This council now becomes Committee of the Whole Council to consider the Import and Export